this, all you need to do is subscribe. It costs nothing, but it means a lot to me. Tonight, we journey back more than 2,000 years to ancient China. Across towering mountains, deep valleys, and endless plains, generations of workers built one of humanity's greatest achievements, the Great Wall of China. It was not built in a single year, nor by a single emperor, but over centuries of war, ambition, and sacrifice. As we explore this remarkable story, imagine the quiet winds sweeping across the ancient stones, the distant footsteps of soldiers on the watchtowers, and the peaceful landscapes that have witnessed thousands of years of history. You'll lose yourself in the peaceful ancient town of Fenghuang, where the river drifts lazily beneath moss-covered rooftops and forgotten memories quietly float with the shimmering current. In the heart of vast China, where ancient legends still echo through the winds and stones, Wanyan Valley emerges like a surreal painting crafted by nature itself. A magical valley quietly awaiting your footsteps of discovery. And when you set foot in the Yandang Mountains, you'll be struck by the sight of an ancient temple nestled within towering cliffs, where a narrow path clings to the mountainside, guiding you through the grandeur of nature and the sacred whispers of time. Each destination is a hidden world of wonder waiting for you to uncover its secrets. Get ready for a journey into timeless masterpieces where the beauty of China will not only leave you breathless but touch the deepest corners of your soul. Location block. Gaoyaling is a rare geological landscape shaped by Danxia formations, where red sandstone has eroded for millions of years, creating knife-like ridges, steep rock walls, and long wave-like mountains. From the top, at about 1,640 feet high, visitors can see deep valleys, red rock forests, and colors that change naturally throughout the day, making it feel like a surreal world. What makes Gaoyaling special are its narrow, steep ridges that offer both thrill and peace in every step, while still keeping the raw purity of nature. A legend says this place was once the resting ground of a giant heavenly dragon, whose body turned into these red glowing ridges on stormy nights. People believe they can hear the dragon's roar rising from inside the mountain. Some early morning hikers have said they saw a soft glowing light floating along the ridge like a silk ribbon with no clear light source, a sacred dragon light said to appear only to pure-hearted people chosen by nature. Location: Montame. Montame, located in Sichuan province, is one of the 4 sacred Buddhist mountains in China, known for its stunning natural beauty and deep cultural and religious significance. Standing at about 10,167 feet, Montame attracts visitors with its majestic mountain ranges, fresh air, and diverse flora and fauna. Dense forests, winding paths, beautiful waterfalls, and ancient temples are scattered across its slopes. Zhangjiajiswalingwan area, in Hunan province, is famous for its towering sandstone columns, ranging from 200 to 1,000 feet high, forming a landscape unlike anywhere else. Beautiful waterfalls, primeval forests, and deep gorges complete the wild, vibrant scenery, changing dramatically between the greens of spring and the golds and reds of autumn. The area is home to the longest glass bridge in the world and has been recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site for its unique geological and biological value. Location: Yindang Mountains. The Yindang Mountains, in Zhejiang Province, were formed by volcanic activity millions of years ago, famous for towering cliffs, majestic waterfalls, and peaks that stand like pillars reaching the sky. At sunrise, light passing through the mist paints the mountains gold, like a fairyland. At night, moonlight reflects off the rocks in a dreamlike glow. Since ancient times, the mountains have been regarded as sacred. Great Wall of China. The Great Wall is not simply a wall, it is the greatest construction project in human history, winding through mountains and deserts for over 20,000 kilometers, visible even from space. Built and rebuilt across more than 2,000 years, each dynasty added its own chapter, its own techniques, its own sacrifices. In some sections, rice was even used as mortar, creating a binding agent stronger than modern cement. Walking its ancient, weathered steps means walking through centuries of war, trade, and the dream of empires that believed they could carve eternity into stone. Yellow River and Yangtze River. Two great rivers shape the soul of this land. The Yellow River, considered the cradle of Chinese civilization, carries with it the silt and stories of millennia. The Yangtze, the third longest river in the world, flows for 6,000 kilometers, connecting remote Tibetan mountains to the Pacific Ocean, a vital artery for transportation, agriculture, and life itself. Along its course, the river winds through the towering walls of the Three Gorges, past ancient temples clinging to steep slopes and cities that rose from its fertile banks. The Great Wall of China. The Great Wall is not simply a wall, it is the greatest construction project in human history, winding through mountains and deserts for over 20,000 kilometers, visible even from space. Built and rebuilt across more than 2,000 years, each dynasty added its own chapter, its own techniques, its own sacrifices. Standing atop its ancient stones, one can imagine the quiet winds sweeping across the watchtowers, the distant footsteps of soldiers who once stood guard here, and the peaceful landscapes that have silently witnessed thousands of years of history. In some sections, rice was even used as mortar, creating a binding agent stronger than modern cement, a secret of ancient engineering that still puzzles researchers today. According to legend, for every meter of wall built, one worker lost his life, buried, some say, within the very stones they laid, so their spirits could stand guard forever. Locals speak of nights when the wind moving through the old watchtowers carries a sound like distant marching, as if the soldiers of ancient dynasties never truly left their post. Walking its weathered steps means walking through centuries of war, trade, and the dream of empires that believed they could carve eternity into stone. The Great Wall stands today not just as a monument of stone, but as a silent witness to the price of ambition, and the enduring will of a civilization that refused to be forgotten. Scattered across the vast landscape of China are waters that hold as much spiritual power as natural beauty, mirrors of sky and mountain, silent witnesses to thousands of years of belief, legend, and quiet devotion. High in the Tibetan plateau lies Baong Ko Lake, stretching nearly 7.5 miles between snow-capped peaks. Its clear waters reflect the mountains so perfectly that the line between sky and earth seems to disappear. Around its shores stand ancient temples, including Kwozong Gongba, home to sacred Buddha statues and centuries-old religious relics. Once a year, on the 15th day of the 4th month of the Tibetan calendar, thousands of pilgrims gather along the lakeside for a great festival, a moment when prayer, music, and tradition rise together over the still water. Higher still, at nearly 16,000 feet above sea level, sits Kana Lake, one of the highest and most sacred freshwater lakes in the entire Tibetan region. In winter, the surface freezes completely, transforming into a silver mirror reflecting the endless sky. Tibetan people believe this lake is home to water spirits, a hidden gateway between this world and another. Pilgrims travel great distances to meditate on its shores, to pray, and to perform rituals of purification, cleansing not just the body, but the soul. Some who have stood beside its frozen waters speak of strange sounds carried on the wind, or of the lake's colors shifting mysteriously at sunrise, moments that feel less like nature, and more like something watching back. Far to the west, in the Tian Shan mountain range, lies Tianqi Lake, the heavenly lake, resting at an altitude of over 6,000 feet. Surrounded by lush forests and snow-capped ranges that remain white throughout the year, the lake shines like a giant jade gem when sunlight strikes its surface, reflecting the deep blue of the sky above. In winter, it freezes over entirely, turning the whole valley into a breathtaking white landscape. Ancient people believed this lake was the dwelling place of celestial beings, descending from the heavens to bathe in its pure waters. Even today, pilgrims believe that the lake holds the power to purify those who visit, and to bring good fortune to those who seek it with a sincere heart. Each of these lakes tells a different story, yet they share the same quiet truth, that water, in Chinese belief, is never simply water. It is memory. It is spirit. It is the place where heaven and earth are allowed, if only for a moment, to touch, and as the wind moves gently across their still surfaces, one can almost hear the echoes of those who came before, monks in silent prayer, pilgrims walking barefoot through the cold, and the whispered belief, passed down through generations, that somewhere beneath these waters, something sacred still remains. China's cities, a nation in motion. China's cities are growing at breakneck speed, constantly redesigning the nation's skyline. Home to the world's second-largest population, with over 1.4 billion people, roughly 94% are concentrated in the eastern half of the country, where ancient capitals stand shoulder to shoulder with some of the most futuristic skylines on Earth. Shanghai dominates with a population of over 26 million, its glass towers rising along the Huangpu River where a simple commercial port once stood. Beijing, the capital, embraces 3,000 years of history, home to the Forbidden City and its 9,000 rooms, while modern skyscrapers rise just beyond its ancient walls. Perhaps no city tells China's story of transformation better than Shenzhen. In 1979, it was a small fishing town. Today, it stands as a high-tech megalopolis of more than 17 million people, a city built almost entirely within a single generation, symbolizing the astonishing speed of China's modern rise. Further south, Guangzhou has served as China's gateway to the world for centuries, its trading spirit dating back to the ancient Tang dynasty. and Hong Kong, where east meets west, pulses with the energy of 7 million people moving between skyscrapers, floating markets, and mountains that touch the sea. Each city carries its own rhythm: Beijing's imperial grandeur, Shanghai's international ambition, Shenzhen's relentless innovation, Guangzhou's commercial heritage, and Hong Kong's fusion of cultures. Together, they form a living portrait of a nation that honors its past while racing boldly into the future. China: mountains, rivers, people, and power. China is a nation carved by nature and shaped by the hands of countless generations, a land where mountains touch the sky, rivers carry the memory of civilizations, ancient walls guard forgotten empires, and over 1 billion people carry forward traditions that stretch back thousands of years. Mountains. Nearly 70% of China is mountainous, a landscape sculpted over millions of years into some of the most breathtaking terrain on Earth. Mount Everest rises 8,848 meters on the border between Tibet and Nepal, the highest point on the planet, its snow-covered peak piercing through clouds that few humans have ever touched. Further east, Mount Immerse stands as one of the 4 sacred Buddhist mountains, its golden summit offering views above a sea of clouds, where pilgrims have walked for centuries seeking enlightenment. In Anhui Province, Huangshan, the Yellow Mountain, has inspired poets and painters for 1,000 years, its granite pinnacles rising through mist like a living ink painting. And in the west, the Tianzi Mountains, said to have given birth to the otherworldly landscapes of Avatar, rise like stone pillars suspended between heaven and earth. These mountains are more than scenery, they are sacred ground, home to monks, hermits, and legends of dragons said to sleep within the stone itself. Rivers. 2 great rivers give life to this ancient land. The Yellow River, considered the cradle of Chinese civilization, has carried the silt and stories of dynasties for over 4,000 years. The Yangtze, the 3rd longest river in the world, stretches 6,000 kilometers from the remote mountains of Tibet to the Pacific Ocean, cutting through the towering cliffs of the 3 gorges, where morning mist creates the illusion of floating mountains, a sight that has inspired generations of Chinese artists. Along its banks, great cities like Chongqing, Wuhan, and Nanjing rose from fertile plains, their fortunes tied forever to the river's flow. These waters are not just geography. In Chinese belief, rivers are living forces, connecting the past to the present with every current. The Great Wall. Stretching over 20,000 kilometers across mountains and deserts, the Great Wall of China is the greatest construction project in human history, visible even from space. Built and rebuilt across more than 2,000 years, each dynasty added its own chapter, its own techniques, its own sacrifices. Legend says that for every meter of wall built, one worker lost his life, some believed to be buried within the very stones they laid, so their spirits could stand guard forever. Walking its ancient, weathered steps means walking through centuries of war, ambition, and the dream of empires that believed they could carve eternity into stone. Military history. China's military legacy runs as deep as its history. Beneath the soil of Shaanxi province lies the Terracotta Army, thousands of life-sized soldiers, each with a unique face, created over 2,000 years ago to protect Emperor Qin Shi Huang in the afterlife. Discovered in 1974, this silent army reveals the discipline, artistry, and military ambition of ancient China. Centuries later, on the slopes of Mount Song, the Shaolin Monastery became the birthplace of Chinese martial arts, where monks blended physical discipline with spiritual devotion, giving rise to Kung Fu, a tradition of strength and philosophy still practiced today. Throughout its history, China's armies defended vast borders, built fortresses in impossible terrain, and shaped an empire that endured for millennia through both diplomacy and steel. Lakes. Scattered across this vast land are lakes as spiritual as they are beautiful. High in the Tibetan plateau, Baonko Lake mirrors snow-capped peaks and waters so still they blur the line between sky and earth. Nearby, Kana Lake, sitting at nearly 16,000 feet, is considered home to water spirits, a sacred gateway believed to connect this world to another. And in the Tian Shan Mountains, Tianqi, the heavenly lake, glows like a jade gem beneath the sun, once believed to be the bathing place of celestial beings descending from the heavens. The people. Home to over 1.4 billion people, China is a mosaic of humanity unlike anywhere else on Earth. 91% belong to the Han ethnicity, yet the nation officially recognizes 55 ethnic minorities: Tibetans, Mongolians, Uyghurs, Miao, Zhuang, each carrying their own language, dress, and tradition. In the countryside, farmers still work terraced rice fields carved into mountainsides centuries ago. In cities like Shanghai and Shenzhen, millions live at the pace of a nation racing toward the future, while in ancient towns like Fenghuang and Phoenix, elders practice calligraphy in quiet courtyards, and children grow up beneath the same red lanterns their ancestors once lit. Time itself moves differently here, measured not only by clocks, but by the lunar calendar, by festivals, by the turning of the zodiac. Conclusion. Mountains that touch the heavens. Rivers that carry the weight of dynasties. A wall built by sacrifice in stone. An army frozen in eternal service. Lakes that blur the line between the human and the divine. And a people, over 1 billion strong, who carry forward a story that has never stopped being written. This is China, not simply a country, but a civilization still breathing through every mountain, every river, and every soul who calls it home. If this journey through China's mountains, rivers, and ancient legends has moved you, there's so much more waiting to be discovered. Every week, we uncover a new hidden corner of this fascinating world, places most people never get to see, stories most people never get to hear. If you want to keep exploring with us, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next journey. Let us know in the comments which place from today's video you'd love to visit yourself. We read every single one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure.